Welcome to Elliptigo's online support videos. In this video, we will be unboxing your sub. First, open the box. You may want to remove the staples to prevent injury and/or scratching up your frame. Make sure you fold back all of the tabs. It'll be easier if you fold the tabs back on the inside of the box when you lift the bike out. This is what your sub should look like, fully packaged inside. And go ahead and remove the foam block off the front of the bike. Go ahead and just lift it straight up and put to the side. You're going to want a pair of scissors to help cut off all these zip ties. And you're going to locate your pedals down in the box there. I've already cut mine, but you'll remove the pedals and put them to the side. Lift the sub straight up, holding the wheel and the frame. And this is what your sub will look like, all nice and packaged. Go ahead and move the box out of the way and place the sub down on the ground, or if you have another workstation, put that down. I just put it straight down on the ground and let it rest on the fork. Using your scissors, carefully cut the zip ties. I started with the kickstand just so that I could put the kickstand down and have the bike lean against that while I continue to work on the assembly. So next, go ahead and cut off all of the packing material, being careful not to nick your frame with your scissors or cutting instrument. You can remove all of the packing material at this point. Remember to remove the derailleur protector piece that just comes right off the derailleur on the rear of the bike. Now we want to rotate the front fork around. You'll note that the front brake cable is facing under the bike. This is the incorrect direction. We need to rotate it 90 degrees so that the cables are out in front. Be careful not to rotate in the wrong direction to wrap the cable, but rotate the fork so that the cable is now out in front of the bike. The brakes should be facing forward, and the cables are not wrapped around the back of the fork. Open up the quick release on the preload collar and insert your steering extender and handlebars with the cables out in front of the bike into the frame of your sub. It'll slide down, pull the safety extender, index pin, and slide into position and close the quick release. Your safety index pin retracts, and when it is engaged properly, those red lines disappear. We'll go ahead and cut the remaining packing material off the fork. Open up your front brakes if they're not already. To do that, squeeze the caliper arms together and push the bracket down to release the noodle out of the slot in the cage. That is your front wheel quick release, which is attached to your front wheel. If it is not there, please let us know. Go ahead and cut that off of your front wheel. Be careful not to cut the rim or the tire, so be very careful. And then remove the skewer and set aside. We're going to go ahead and install that into the front wheel. Remove the rest of the packaging material. This will pop off the axle, and you may need a small flathead screwdriver to remove the other side of the packing material on the front hub. It just pops off. I used a little screwdriver to wedge it in there and pop it off of the hub. Next, you want to make sure that the front wheel is facing the right direction. Your tread will show you which way to go, as well as on the tire itself there will be a little arrow that says forward. Forward meaning that that is the direction the front wheel will be riding as you're riding your bike forward. So you will want to put that into the correct position with your skewer. To use your skewer, you'll remove the tension nut and spring on the one side, and then you'll slide your skewer with the quick release lever so that it'll be on the right hand side so that your wheel is still going in the forward direction, and place the spring with the tension nut on the other side, and the spring will go onto the skewer with the small end first and the big end facing the tension nut, and just screw that back down. Don't screw too tightly because you need to put your front wheel into the fork. To install the front wheel, just make sure your fork protector has been removed, and then slide the wheel into the forks with the quick release lever on the right as you're facing it. Slide the fork dropouts onto the axle. The bike will stay upright on its kickstand, or you can have somebody help hold it. Tension the tension nut by rotating it, and then secure the quick release lever by folding it back towards the rear wheel. And you want to make sure that this is tight enough that it causes a small indentation on the palm of your hand and that the wheel is secure in the fork. Reattach the front brakes by squeezing the caliper arms together and sliding the brake cable through the slot of the cage and seating the noodle into the cage to give tension. Now for the pedal installation. Remove the plastic baggie that came with your pedals and ensure that you have a 6mm Allen wrench, the long one, a 4mm Allen wrench, the little one, 2 pedal washers, and 2 retention screws that say L or R. Your pedals will also have an R and an L on them for right and left. Start by putting a pedal washer over your left pedal, which has the L on it. This will go on your left crank arm as if you're riding the bike on your left-hand side. Insert your 6mm Allen wrench and begin threading the pedal into the crank arm, rotating the wrench in a counterclockwise direction, or forward, as if you're pedaling forward. Make sure that the pedal is fully seated and then torque to 34 Newton meters. So give it a good, strong, tight torque. Next, install the left retention screw into the left pedal using your 4mm Allen wrench. These retention screws will come to a dead stop, so do not over tighten these. You will rotate the wrench until they are seated, and then you will stop. It is very important not to over tighten your retention screws. For the right pedal, put the pedal washer over the pedal with the R on it and install to the right crank arm. Again, this is if you're riding your bike, it's on the right hand side. And continue turning the wrench in a clockwise direction, tightening the axle into the crank arm. Once again, you'll make sure that the pedal is fully secure in the crank arm, and then use the 6mm Allen wrench to torque to 34 Newton meters. Give a good strong pull. Install your right retention screw, also turning clockwise, and again, you'll rotate this until it stops, and then that's it. Torque to 6 Newton meters. Your Elliptigo sub is now assembled. Please view our pre-ride checklist and taking your first test ride on elliptigo.com support. For any questions about the assembly, please contact us, service@elliptigo.com.